Welcome to the first ever Get Real podcast video. I'm Non-Pastor Dan, and
I'm Pastor Glenn, and I got it on cruise control right now. Hey, Dan, can you believe they let us out of the fishbowl? I mean, we were on the road today.
I'm scared of you multitasking, but it is good to be out of the fishbowl.
Isn't cruise control like autopilot? I don't have to do anything?
I don't know about this car, but hey, we're carrying a payload back here. We got Samuel. All right. We're going to do a music review. Kill Devil Theory is a group that Glenn and I had the pleasure of interviewing a few months ago, and they've come out with a new album. We've listened to the whole thing, and Glenn, what are your thoughts?
Awesome. I was very impressed with the first Kill Devil Theory album. I'm not impressed by a lot. It takes a lot to impress me. The first album, totally impressive. This thing has just absolutely blown me away. Some things that have blown me away with this album is you hear a lot of different influences. You hear the influences of Lacuna Coil, System of a Down, some Iron Maiden mixed in there, a little bit of Evanescence. I could tell a little Amy Lee-esque type vocals in there. But the thing that I like about the influences, they're not trying to copy it. It's genuine. It's their own. They make it their own sound. The composition of the music, the lyrics, it's just tight. It goes. Every song just draws you in further and further into the album. And the other thing that I like about this album is that it's very timely with what Dan and I have been talking about with the new Reformation, with freedom of spirit by being born again by grace through faith alone, and through freedom of mind that comes with it. If I remember correctly, this album is about their mascot. It's a concept album about their mascot, Blackjack, and his adventures during the Revolutionary War. And the Revolutionary War, a lot of people don't realize, the American Revolution was key to the spread of the gospel throughout the world.
Yeah, it really was.
Love the message, love the album. It's awesome.
Yeah,
Sam,
absolutely.
what do you think? And you're a musician.
Yeah, absolutely. On top of the message, which is absolutely amazing, the musicality of this album just blew me out of the water. Totally. I could hear a lot of different things that were impressive, such as time signature changes and different feels between triple and duple, things like that, especially in the drum area. And it was just absolutely awesome. I loved listening to the whole thing.
Well, that's one of the things that I really noticed is when I listen to good metal, it's got to be good metal. It will zone my ADD. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It'll I'll have certain circuits of the brain get occupied. The drumming, the guitar solos, everything, the vocals, it flowed along and I just get a nice euphoric focus. I know that sounds weird, but that's how I judge really good metal. And it was tight as the word. Absolutely wonderful. I like patriotic music. I love my country. I love it. Okay.
Yeah.
And the United States of America has done a lot for the gospel, still does a lot. I think that God has moved on his people here, super generous, okay? And especially when you look back in our history, it's fascinating when you see what was going on around the time of the Revolution. I hear the sincerity coming out in the lyrics. The song structure was just so wonderful. And the vocals standing on top of the mix the way they did, I don't know who they did the mix for them or if they did it themselves. It's impressive. So kudos for that.
And this album is totally timely, because I really believe that we've been given a window right now for the gospel to go forth even more in this country and through this country, and that God is calling his people to stand up and fight. Revolution calls.
Yeah.
And that's revolution for the gospel, for freedom, to stand up for freedom, freedom of speech, freedom to worship God. I mean, it's all right there. It's awesome. Dan, can you take us back when we were talking just a few minutes ago while listening to the album about the music room?
Okay. So we're sitting here and we're listening to different tracks, and probably for 20, 30, 40 miles, listen to the whole album.
That was
and I'm like,
20, 40 miles.
Who in the world? Okay, she reminds me of some just excellent vocalist. I love the vocals. I'm like, who is it? And then finally, we made up this scenario that there's this studio room, a practice room, and then Natalie Merchant from the 10,000 Maniacs is playing and singing so beautifully. And I take that as a compliment. We both really like her voice. And back in the day, we're showing our age, I guess. People are like, Natalie who? But she was just singing beautifully. And then a bunch of crazy Iron Maiden guys come in there. They're like, I don't know if this is what room. No, that's probably Australian. But they come in and they start jamming with Natalie Merchant, and then it just works. So that is a compliment. Okay, it absolutely worked. We thoroughly enjoyed it, and I was amazed. I was absolutely amazed.
Yeah, Kill Devil Theory has really blossomed into their own now.
They got it going on.
They got it
I heard
going on.
Metallica in there.
Oh,
and
yeah.
And hey, y'all may not sound at all or sculpt your sound after anybody, but that's a compliment too. I like that drive. And it seemed like the tubes just kept warming up and it kept getting fuzzier and harder as it went on. I loved it.
And when we make the analogies to the sounds and the influences that we hear from the different bands, that we're making a compliment in that, because you guys, you're not imitating that. You're your own. You've taken those influences, and everybody's in art is influenced by something different, you know.
Exactly.
And it influences you, and that's really the test of great art, that it influences more art in that vein. And that's really what we have here. This is a real artistic, real genuine heart cry of an album. It's Kill Devil Theory. The name of the album is Blackjack. Google them, killdeviltheory.com. Curtis and Deanna, awesome.
Yep.
Awesome
Buy it
job.
up.
Super kudos.
All right, buy it up. Kill Devil Theory. Later, Gator.